We've waited long enough.
Boom.
It is time to go into the cursive writing. Chris Simms notes after watching the Super Bowl on film, which he says uncovered some nuggets that he did not necessarily think he was going to uncover in this one. And let's start with what they did against the Eagles running game.
Yeah.
You talked about it the week in Arizona going into the game. For the Chiefs to win this game, they got to figure out a way to at least slow them down in the running game. And I think some people may see the 115 yards on the ground. They're like, did they slow them down all that much?
Yes.
It was less than what it was throughout the season. I think we have some numbers on that, too. I mean, it was significantly less when you extrapolate what the quarterback did as opposed to the running backs on that team. I think it was just 45 rushing yards for the running backs.
Right.
The running back run game was almost non-existent in this one. And there are the numbers if you're watching on YouTube.
Few scrambles by Hurts that were drop-back
Peacock,
passes, and then there were some great quarterback design runs as well.
So the running back yards per rush in the Super Bowl, just 2.5.
Right.
In the year, it was almost 5. So they really did. They just, the running back run game, they shut down. Hurts wasn't running wild all game either. So how did they do that? And what surprised you?
Yeah, and really, I think their run game is even better than it was statistically during the year. But I think teams had to go so all in sometimes to stop the run or play run defense. They were just like, well, we're going to throw it. I mean, this is just like, it's A.J. Brown one-on-one. We're going to do that, right?
Yeah.
So the Chiefs had to try to they had to do a balance of wait, this might not be the pass look you like. You don't want to pass this. You want to run it. Oh, set hut. Oh, wait, it's not the look you think, or we're coming down to stop the run, right? Doing all that. We talked about in our, What the F Will Happen podcast, 10 days before the Super Bowl. I said, hey, right, Chiefs, when they played the Bengals, had to be different coverages. You play the Eagles, different coverages are good, but more importantly, different fronts. Defensive line alignment, linebacker alignment is going to be more key to the football game. And they had to do something special. You said it. This Eagles team, there's a reason, again, guys that have been around football, experts, all the people we saw on Fox, they picked the Eagles to win by 7, 10 points, right? Greg Olsen comes on the broadcast. This is, you talk to people in the NFL, this is the roster in football, right? It's a freaking all-star team they got. I mean, there's no weakness to their team. There's no one position you could look at and go, that spot right there, right? So, and Kansas City, again, they're not too shabby. We know that, but they're not that. They're not that. It's not an all-time defensive front.
Right.
Best offensive line we've seen in football maybe in the last 10 years when you talk to people around football. I mean, some people think more than that, right? I mean, they're in almost an inevitable force to a degree. Hey, we're running it here, and you know it, and we still are going to just move all of you and run there.
Well, look like it, too, because they're down by the goal line.
And they can just mosh pit it and just push people 4 yards backwards.
Jason Kelce could have been the running back, and he was 5 yards in the end zone.
Well, I mean, they're amazing that way, right? So, so now let's get into it a little bit. So, yes, here's the first thing. The Chiefs recognized we can't play them straight up and do what we normally going to do. We'll normally play defense. If we do that, they're going to just obliterate us. There's no way. So that's the first thing I want to give them credit for. Recognizing, because a lot of coaches will have ego and be like, whoa, we're pretty good too. If we just play what we do and, I call good run, we'll be okay. Kudos to them to not have the ego to fall into that trap.
Yeah, and sometimes if you sell out to stop the run, you're going to look pretty bad in some pass game situations.
No doubt. So the ability to be realistic with yourself and self-scout thyself and go, okay, wait, we have some matchup problems here, so we got to change things up, right? That, and then the guts to actually go through with it is where I will give Steve Spagnuolo incredible credit here. To me, it's one of the greatest game plans in Super Bowl history. I'm going to just throw that out there right now. It really is. It's definitely one of the gutsiest. To me, it goes up there with, Giants, Bills, Belichick, drop 8 people every play. Patriots, Rams, Belichick, Brady and them beating the Rams in that first Super Bowl, right? Yeah. Spags upsetting the undefeated Patriots as the defensive coordinator of the Giants. This one right here, I'm going to put in that category.
I mean, the numbers don't look great.
I know.
Right?
They don't look
35
great.
points.
They don't look great.
Hanging on by a thread
but
in the
I
first
think
half.
if he doesn't come up with these unbelievable game plan and the gutsiness of this game plan, they're going to get steamrolled. They're going to have no chance to win the football game. And that's, to me, where it was amazing. Ahmed, they played defenses, you saw my notes, where I'd go, he must have been chuckling, or during the week, like going, am I really going to call this defense in the middle of the field on a 2nd and 9? Like, I guarantee he called some defenses and some moments in this game where he's going, I've never called that defense ever in that down a distance on this part of the field ever in my life, and I've been a defensive coordinator forever, right? So that is where it was amazing. It was an great changing of the fronts, like we just talked about.
So different alignments from the
different alignments
D-line.
all the time. Sometimes it might have been 3 defense alignment to the left, a linebacker standing over the right guard, and then another D end on the right.
Did that confuse the Eagles?
Well, it confuses them. It just doesn't allow them to just settle in and hunker in on, hey, what's the play? Shane Steichen and Nick Sirianni? Oh, yeah, you know the front, right? All right, call that perfect play. So, we know exactly, oh, yeah, we got the play perfect. So they never could get, to that perfect play always. I think that's the biggest thing. And then within the alignments, too, what you do, and they changed it up and, bare front, and then sometimes they had all 4 linemen all, inside shoulder, right? It wasn't bare front. It was, in between the gap of the guard and the center, in between the gap of the guard and the center, and inside the shoulder of the tackles. There's no, outside containment, and you're like, well, I've never seen them line up like this all year long. But they had to do things too. 1, to not let them get in rhythm, but 2, to affect, as we talked about with the 49ers game. It can't always be double team and that one guy gets up to the second level. So they got into some alignments that affected that. But it's the gutsiness and the run game blitzes and the risk they took in the back end in pass coverage, where he must have been, they voided people at times, Ahmed.
What do you mean?
You saw my notes. There's plays where it's 4 receivers and they don't cover the slot, or the safety's 20 yards deep. He's kind of responsible for him, right? He's kind of making it look like it's cover 2, or it's cover 2, and they're just going, if they want to throw turn around 5 yards, turn around 10 yards, it's going to be open. We're going to be in trouble, right? Because they were going, 4 D linemen, and then blitzing both nickel guys off the blitz, right? 6 guys blitzing, nobody covering a slot. They had a 2nd down call one time. They didn't cover the best receiver in football, A.J. Brown. They just went, we can't stop this play here, so we want to run game blitz. We're worried about all these plays, right? It was actually the play, Jalen Hurts whirly bird out to the left. He made a great escape, right? They had a free guy coming off his left side, if you remember. Right, here you go. Right. They had some plays like this during the game because they're worried about so many other things that they just went, all right, here it's back again to our calculated risk decision, right? Where, I know we're kind of void in this area, but we can't stop everything they do. So we're going to, it's a calculated risk. It's a gamble. We're rolling the dice a little bit. And that, to me, is what was amazing about the football game. Yeah. It was amazing. The disguises, the aggressiveness of the defenses, and just we got to go all in and play this way, because if we don't and play the way we normally do, they're just going to go 5 yards up the middle, 5 yards up the middle, Hurts around the edge 5 yards, pick us apart in the zone coverage, run up the middle for 5 yards, another 8-yard completion to A.J. Brown, and they would have just died slow death after slow death after slow death.
So are these situations where it was well disguised by the Chiefs and the Eagles didn't pick up on it, or were they missed opportunities where Hurts and that offense were not checking into plays that when they saw that they're selling out to stop the run?
They were well disguised in that. They did a great job of holding things. The Eagles are not an audible team. They're kind of like wait, we're so good, we're just going to call the play and run it. Or they're, in my guesstimation, a 2-play in the huddle. If they play this defense, run it. They play that defense, pass it, right? Or kind of that way.
Okay.
Right? Or it's 2 runs. If they play this front, we want to run the ball. If they play the other front, run the ball the other way, right? That's kind of looks. I think I'm fair in saying that's what they are. So 1, the disguises are tough. 2, there's no way they could have prepared for some of this stuff. There's no way. Some of these plays and defenses, they didn't play them this year. Some of these fronts, you'd go, they didn't play these. Like, there's no way they were drawing these up on scout team cards going, hey, guys, we saw a whole game in week 12. They lined up like this a lot. We're ready for it, right? Some of these, they had been like, I don't know. We got to figure out how we're going to do this, whatever, right? And then, so they couldn't prepare for that. And that's where, again, Jalen Hurts, as good as he is and the growth he is, if he got to play this team like 2 years from now, 3 years from now, he'd go, well, I'll never let them play defense. And you might say, why, right? Because he's going to, as he grows as a player here, he's going to be able to, he's going to audible. He's going to go, wait, there's nobody covering our slot receiver? Hey, check Mac protection. Check, red 80. Hey, we're going 80. And then he starts signaling, and he's going to go, I'm not going to let them play this defense. Dummy snap count. I saw that nickel guy blitzing. I'm going to get to the right play here. How dare they think they're just going to send 6 and stop the run? I'm going to gash their ass with the pass, right? He's not there yet. They're not there. They haven't wired him there. They haven't had to do this yet.
Right.
This is the first time they got into a game where we're like, wait, what? Holy shit, all our answers in our normal offense isn't just dominating. It was doing really good, but it wasn't dominating. And it is to me, again, I think an all-time gutsy performance by Spags.
So this might be the last time they can do something like that against the Eagles.
I would think this year is going to be the offseason when they look at this film and go over it. Yeah, that'll probably be the thing they go, hey, this is our next phase, Jalen. We can't let teams do some of these crazy defenses to us. We need you to get to a few audibles or blah, 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 and we'll screw over these teams a little bit, when they try to take away our run game.
Something that was screwing over the Chiefs early in this game, and especially in the first half, was Jalen Hurts' design runs.
Right.
We saw it 7 times in the first half, 46 yards, had one of those touchdowns on that. And you noted in your notes, I was reading through your cursive writing, you're like, I don't remember a design quarterback run in the second half of this game. And the numbers bear that out. Now, the 2-point conversion was
a great run where he lowered his head and used his damn big running back legs and powered in the end zone.
But, here you go. The numbers bear that out. 7 in the first half.
Right.
None outside of that in the second half.
Really, and didn't even really, maybe scrambled once or twice in the second half.
Why do you think that happened? What happened?
Well, I think it wasn't intentional. Hey, Kansas City, they controlled the ball a little bit in the second half.
Game script, you're down for the first time in the second half,
right?
Too. Although it would seem like they wouldn't get out of the design run even
you're
then.
right. It doesn't matter. Again, you saw in my notes, there was a few times in this game I'm going, run on 3rd and 6, run on 4th and 5. Nobody in the history of football does this. This is like unbelievable. It's like going back to 1942.
Before the forward pass.
Yeah, right. It's exactly. It's like, I can't believe we're watching this. A team on 3rd and 7's going, we're going to run it so we can get into 4th and 3 so we can run it again. Yeah. It's crazy in the 2023 NFL or 2022 NFL. But, wait, where were you taking me there? I just got myself sidetracked.
The Jalen Hurts design runs, why didn't they do it more?
So I just think the game itself, I'm sure they would have liked to have gotten to it. One in the second half. The Chiefs were much better in their scramble and their pass protection lanes. They did like we talked about the 49ers. They never went past them in the second half.
Yeah.
They did the D tackles just pushed the pocket and kind of waited. So they were good with the scrambling department. The run game thing, I just don't think it kind of fell in place. They have the 17-play drive where they settle for the field goal, right? They kind of got behind the chains a few times. He made some great throws. On that drive, I honestly think he made the 3 greatest throws I've seen him make in his career, really. He threw a crossing route, amazing. The Goddard out route, amazing. Yeah. And he threw a post route, again, on like second down, all-out blitz again, where you're like, I can't believe they're calling this right here.
Watkins dropped.
And Quez Watkins, it was out in front of him. But I look at it and go, like, man, first off, he put his hands the wrong way. And second off, like, it didn't look like he really timed the ball with his running and his jumping there. But certainly, like, I think you could say, yeah, we'd expect our receiver to catch that football.
To that point, you thought this was the best game that Jalen Hurts played probably all year.
He made more NFL throws in this game than I've ever seen him make in any game ever.
Which is pretty cool to do it in the Super Bowl.
Big show. No doubt about it. Exactly right. So that's, again, those are things that are going to be, positives to build on, for sure. So going back to the quarterback run thing, I just think there was that. Then the next drive, they went 3 and out, right, Ahmed? 3 and out. The first play of the drive, if you remember, I think was a pass interference. They threw a little screen out to the edge, and they called illegal blocking downfield, OPI. They ended up going 3 out. And then they got the ball back, and then, of course, they went on the touchdown drive where they were a machine. They didn't need anything, right? So I don't think, again, I'm not going to sit here and go, oh, the Eagles are so stupid. They didn't run the quarterback design run.
Yeah.
It just didn't happen. I'm sure they would have liked to. And, some of the situations and I think the way the Chiefs defense presented itself changed that, But on top of that, too, Ahmed, here's another huge key to the game, in my opinion. We talked about it a little Monday. Other than, A.J. Brown at the end of the half and Devontae Smith on the first series of the game where he caught a little RPO and broke. Yak was not a thing in the football game, so they did a great job with that. But they did a great job with screens and the screen game, especially to the receivers and everything like that.
The Chiefs did it stopping
the Chiefs, because usually what happens is you're playing defenses to sell out to stop the run. Mm-hmm. So then they go, well, hey, here, we got numbers outside, and it's our guy's awesome. And if he makes one guy miss, watch out because you're in deep shit, right? But the Chiefs were great at tackling and handling those situations, even taking on the right blocking, again, to not let that kill them. Because I think, once again, you let the running game and screen game going, then your defensive linebackers' heads are spinning. They're like, oh, it's play action, run. Oh, it's going everywhere. You'll never stop it. To me, that seemed to be their two focuses of the game. Stop the run, stop the wide receiver screen game, and we still might lose, but we think that's the only chance. And, again, I think it was the right calculated risk.
I mean, you got to have players that can pull that off, and you name check a few in your notes here.
Please.
Carlos Dunlap, Chris Jones, Kalen Saunders in the run game.
Their statistics are not going to bear the fruits of their labor. Mm-hmm. It doesn't say, it's what we pride ourselves on here. Your stats, right? These guys, this is even on the first series, the Eagles went writing down. One of the things you saw I wrote in my notes was okay, the Chiefs D-line, though, it wasn't overpowered. It wasn't just oh, my gosh, everybody's 4 yards down the field every play, right? In fact, we'll get into it in a minute. I could show you some plays where I go, I can't believe these Eagles defensive tackles are 4 yards down the field against the Chiefs O-line. But, yeah, that was one of the first eye tests for me. It was just going, wait, can they, not get totally steamrolled? And they showed that they were going to be, a tough fight in that department. But, yeah, Jones, Noddy, Dunlap, their size. And then the star of the game on the defensive side of the ball was Nick Bolton. Nick Bolton showed he's my second-team All-Pro linebacker. He was everywhere. I mean everywhere. And I can't say enough about him. They put him in some of the toughest spots. Hey, line up here in the B gap, and then we're going to have a guy smash down, and then we want you to kind of drop out of that B gap and be responsible over Jalen Hurts if he runs off the edge. Or, we want you to take the B gap, but if they toss sweep it on that fake quarterback toss sweep, right? We want you to get out there and still run out there and make the tackle. And then he crushes the running back. He played one of the best games of his life. Wow. So kudos to Nick Bolton.
Cool that he got the spotlight, too, with the pickup of the fumble, which may have been the easiest play.
And almost got another one.
He did almost get,
right?
Yeah. Yeah, that may have been the easiest play of all game, and that's the one that gets the most pub for Nick Bolton.
Right.
Leo Chanel, too, another player that popped for you.
Definitely. There was just, they did a few of the things that we talked about, like the 49ers needed to do against the Eagles, right? The Eagles are, if they know where you are and you line up perfectly, they're going to block it perfectly, and you're in deep crap. They did a little bit of like we talked about, and this isn't always easy to do, but again, when you're the lesser team, you have to do some outside-the-box aggressive stuff. And they did the old, hey, there's a hole, just run through it. No, the back will be there. Just get through there and get in the backfield and create a little chaos. And they did not hesitate in that department throughout the night. They were very impressive.
Eagles offense here. Yeah. I'm trying to get a couple more of your notes.
Yeah.
You did note a couple times, of course, a lot of talk after the game was about that defensive holding, and you were going to go back and look at some of the, calls that were not made. Maybe was there more holding that could have been called early in the game, or were there calls that went for the Eagles against the Chiefs? And you did note one early on here when the score was 7-7. It was the 3rd and 4. They may have benefited from a call on Frank Clark that was offside.
Oh, yeah. That was right. That was the first 3rd and 4 of the game. Clark jumps offside. Isaac Seumalo rocked back. You know, there's a reason Chris Jones jumped back. Now Isaac Seumalo jumps off sides on that 3rd and 1 before the Jalen Hurts fumble, right? But
ball don't lie.
Ball don't lie. Yeah, right. Seriously. In a lot of ways, it's amazing how the sport's like that, right? Like Devontae Smith gets lucky in the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl. The same damn thing happens. They're like, oh, we got you this time, right?
Yeah.
It is amazing, the karma of football that way.
Right.
But yes, they got away with one there. Seumalo, I thought had like even another play or two where I was like, oh, that's questionable, because he was tapping the center, and the center was Kelsey was just taking a split longer than normal, so he was kind of like getting ready to put his weight back because he's a pass protect or whatever. And as he's rocking, the ball's not snapped.
Yeah.
And that one there was, they got screwed over. That was a first down that should not have been. It should have been 3rd and 9.
That's something they're probably coaching there, too, because Lane Johnson's getting away with maybe a fraction of a second early start.
He's almost he's perfect, actually. Yeah. I slowed that down a lot, too. He's perfect.
Really?
I mean, it's amazing, yeah. It's like he's in the brain of the center. They got a symbiotic relationship that way.
So the Eagles get the benefit of that call, and then 3 plays later, it's a 45-yard touchdown to A.J. Brown. I think, once again, we have the dots for that. Anything that stick out on that play, for you? Such a crucial play early in the game.
It was a great play. He gives his guy a chance.
I mean, was it a great play?
Well, in Chris Simms' quarterback school, or anybody's quarterback schooling, if we're in like a meeting room with Peyton Manning or Tom Brady, right? This is not you're not getting a positive grade for decision, right? You know, you might get a positive just because, it became a touchdown, but they're going to go, well, hey, this isn't really the look we wanted to throw the ball to A.J. Brown to. Devontae Smith is wide open across the middle, as you see right here.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got Nick Bolton. There's no chance he's going to be gone for a big game. Damn, he might score even if he throws it to him. But either way, he gives his guy a chance here, right? The funny thing is, watching it back on film, is A.J. Brown was kind of giving up. He was like, well, he's not going to throw it to me. The guy's outside of me. I'm supposed to go outside there. He's right here.
Turned into a good deke.
And then he turned around and he was like, oh, wait, the ball's coming. And then he, put on the, shifted into gears and caught it again.
Yeah.
That was, a big moment of the football game. But that was at a moment of the game, too, Ahmed, and you might have saw this on my notes. The first half, even though they gave up 24 points, there was so many moments and plays where you're like, oh, they got it. Oh, they're this. Oh, just make the tackle. Oh, just make the sack. Oh, you got him double covered, intercepted. Oh, what about, he throws another jump ball to A.J. Brown. He's double covered, intercepted. It goes off, Juan Thornhill and A.J. Brown's hand. And you're just going, damn, they're just not going to be able to make the play today. They can't make the play to get off the field or get them behind the chains or do anything. And then the second half, they started to make those plays. Yeah. And that's, what changed the game a little bit.
But credit to Shane Steichen, because they were, from what you saw, they were able to get some guys open in the middle of the field there.
Definitely.
I mean, we just saw it there with Devontae Smith.
Right.
A.J. Brown's always open. That's why Mike Vrabel was cricking his neck when they traded him away.
Well, that's the bind they put you in. It's a all-time offensive line. It's one of the best duos of receiver we have in football. It's a really good tight end. So, yeah, when you sell out to stop the run like that, hey, they relied, let's throw the football. Let's do that. And, they gashed them and made some plays there, certainly. And yes, Shane Steichen, that offense is awesome. And again, Jalen Hurts' growth as a thrower, extremely impressive from what we've seen.
Well, it's the definition of the 50-50 ball, right? Because later in the game, it was almost an interception when Jalen Hurts threw it to A.J. Brown in midway through the second quarter.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that really is the definition of a 50-50 ball. You throw one up, A.J. Brown makes the play, you throw it up again, it's almost a turnover.
Yeah, no. And there's that fine line of knowing, hey, this guy's my playmaker, he's the player, blah, 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 all of that. That's all. Yeah, so there's that fine line. And then, I think as he'll watch that back and he'll go, yeah, that was a touchdown, but I can't continually live like that.
Yeah.
I'll get burned with football karma by the gods. That'll be an interception. But, yeah, like this play right here, again, you see Goddard. This was not a great decision, throw, anything. This was a shot. These are what I'm talking about. Everybody in the field's open. Devontae Smith's open out here on the comeback route. Goddard, nobody's covering him. Miles Sanders, nobody's covering him, right? But, again, the Eagles are so good. This is where they miss opportunities like this, and you're just like, who cares? Next play will be 10 yards. No big deal. I mean, that's what's amazing about them.
Yeah.
And that's where they are. So, again, there was a lot of positives there. There's some a little bit crazy talk on TV right now that I just don't understand a little. Like, I'm hearing like greatest performance in Super Bowl history. Great, outperformed the guy who won the Super Bowl, right? Should have won the MVP in a losing effort. And I just want to say to the people who are saying that, you're crazy. You're crazy. Those are crazy thoughts. Those are crazy comments to come out of your mouth. That's crazy. And we're going to break down the Chiefs offense right now. But like Patrick Mahomes had maybe one negative play the whole game. He was on the lesser team. He played a defense that was better than his defense, that their whole game plan was stop him. Right? Right? And he was down by 10 points to start the second half against this all-star team. Right? This is where I don't understand the conversation. Jalen Hurts played really good, don't get me wrong. He also made one of the biggest Super Bowl blunders in the history of the sport. He also lost a 10-point lead while quarterbacking the team that was the best team in football. No one, even watching the game back, no one argues that. With the best O-line we've seen, the best duo at receiver, and a really good tight end. And he outplayed the MVP, the guy who and wasn't even 100%. The deck was stacked against him. Why? Just because the numbers? I mean, I don't agree with that statement. I think, to your point on Monday, I wish all quarterbacks were treated that fairly.
Yeah,
right.
I don't mind the discourse around Jalen Hurts, right? I just kind of wish that you'd apply that to other quarterbacks.
That's what I think bothers me. Like if that was Dak Prescott, again, chokes in a big game, all that money we give him. What's the point? What's the point? Josh Allen? If Josh Allen fumbled the ball, Josh Allen doing Josh Allen things. Josh, are you kidding me? Lamar Jackson, glorified running back. So you can't win the big game when he needs to. They played run defense all game. He couldn't beat him. He couldn't win the game with his right arm.
I mean, Kirk Cousins throws short on a fourth down.
I mean, Aaron Rodgers did that. Great stats, but lost the game again. Typical Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah.
That's all I'm trying to say.
I mean, two things can be true here, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
You think it was the best game that Jalen Hurts has played this season, maybe of his entire career.
Right.
And he also left some plays out there.
Definitely. And you've got to take into effect, again, that, like, one team was playing all out to stop something other than Jalen Hurts. And then the other team was playing all out to stop the one guy and his effect there. So that's where, I don't agree with that. When you just say that out loud, biggest blunder of the game, second quarterback to lose a 10-point lead in the second half, you can't follow that off by should have won the MVP, one of the best performances in Super Bowl history. Like, what the are we talking about?
Yeah.
That's insane. I just can't. I got to say that. I got mad I know how people view me in this. I got mad respect for what Jalen Hurts has done. Mad respect. I'm more annoyed with, like, the narrative around it right now, where I just, like, to your point, other people don't get the benefit of that.
Well, and he doesn't need it, right? He doesn't need it. He's already better than what a lot of people maybe thought he would be.
No doubt. He's crapped on me, right? Everybody.
And he's going to keep getting better.
Right.
So it's like he doesn't need the charity. The tape is the tape. And
I don't
reality
get it.
is
I
reality.
think when you say all of that and you talk about the team and the receivers and he's got and all that, like, Mahomes is playing on a team that doesn't have – his receivers wouldn't be playing on the Eagles. I mean, they wouldn't be playing. Right? I mean, come on. Kelsey would be. But that's it. They'd go, okay, we'll go Kelsey, Goddard, A.J. Brown, and Devontae Smith. There's our crew. That's right. That's where people are also not only the optics of the fumble and the 10-point lead loss, but the quarterbacking the clearly the better team there and doing that with the weapons and a lot of things that benefited you. And so then you can't tell me that performance was better than the guy in red. I'm just sorry.
Well, one of the funny things is one of the things that people are crapping on Jalen Hurts about is the Hail Mary at the end of the game. They go, couldn't even throw it. I mean, I don't know how far he threw it.
Well, he threw it like 50 yards or 40 yards. He had to throw it 70, which would have been interesting to see if he could have done it.
Yeah.
He stepped on Kelsey's foot. I thought the grass slipped. But he stepped on Jason Kelsey's right foot.
Oh, wow.
That's where his front foot, as he was gearing up, that's where he stepped, and it was right on Kelsey's foot, and it slipped, and he lost it. I think he would have got it. I know. I saw some of those TikTok videos and stuff my son showed me. And that's where, the internet's annoying because you're like, that's not what happened, and that's not fair to Jalen Hurts.
I mean, we're excited to see what Jalen Hurts can be next year, right? Because they're going to put more on his shoulder. And you mentioned it, like they're going to see things in the Super Bowl and go, all right, we got to add something.
Yeah.
Add something to your game next year, and they're going to be able to do that.
No doubt. And again, that's not like That's normal process for young quarterbacks. Tom Brady won the Super Bowl against the Rams, and they went back and watched the game and said, Tom, we got to get better at this next year, right? I mean, so again, it's not – I'm just talking about football here before everybody gets personal and gets their underwear all up in a bunch.
Too late.
I know.
Undies are in a bunch at this point. Yeah, you're trending on Twitter already. This hasn't even been released yet.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.